probably even more meaningful this year because the rider of the winner is Bill Shoemaker, and the call, one of the most exciting race calls you'll ever hear, by the late Freddie Capicella. There's more on the tape. You'll get a little background of it. It runs a little while. We know you're going to enjoy it. Here's Freddie Capicella and the 1962 Travers.
Elliot Birch wasn't the only trainer to dominate the Travers. Bert Mulholland won the race 5 times, more than any other trainer. His most famous Travers winner by far was Jaipur. Earlier in the summer, the Colts had given owner George Widener his first and only Belmont Stakes victory. In the 1962 Travers, Jaipur faced 6 opponents. Christiana's stable sent out the entry of number 1 Cyan and number 1A Smart. Mrs. Moody Jolly's Ridan, ridden by Manuel Icaza, wore saddlecloth number 2, but he would leave from post position number 1. The favorite Jaipur, odds on and ridden by Bill Shoemaker, was number 3 and broke from post position 2. Number 4 in the field was Military Plume, with Johnny Sellers in the irons. There was a filly in the 1962 Travers, and that was Cicada, number 5, with Bobby Ussery up. Number 6, and rounding out the field, was the longest shot on the board, Flying Johnny. There were 7 horses in the field, but Ridan and Jaipur were certainly the class, as Leroy Jolly remembers.
Well, they were both very, very talented horses, and, you know, they were actually, I think, probably standouts in the field as I remember it. Cicada ran in the race, who was a very, very good filly, and had run a very good race in the Florida Derby that winter. Ridan beat her a nose or a head or something, but by the time we got into the middle of August in the Travers, why, Ridan and Jaipur were both very good horses that had accomplished a great deal. And they, at that time, I think, were pretty well standouts in the field.
The scene was set for a great Travers, one that will be remembered for a long, long time.
Well, it was a very exciting race, and, you know, it was one of those things where you had 2 very, very good horses and 2 great jockeys, 2 very good horses, and they just locked up in one of those situations that you rarely ever see. And not only lock up that way together, so close together, and finish that way, but to do it for a full 1.25 miles with 126 pounds and to break a track record that was set by Man of War was certainly a very exciting situation.
Standing very nicely, and they're off. That's Jaipur with Ridan along the inside, head and head for the lead. Smart moving on the outside, now 3rd. Flying Johnny 4th, Cyan 5th, Military Plume 6th, and Cicada is 7th. They go by the stand, Ridan on the rail with Jaipur head and head for the lead. A gap of 4 lengths, that's Smart in 3rd position. Gap of 2 lengths, comes Cyan with Cicada, Flying Johnny, and Military Plume is 7th. Swing around the clubhouse turn, Ridan on the inside with Jaipur still head and head for the lead. Gap of 5 lengths, Cyan moving into 3rd position. Cicada now 4th. Smart 5th. Flying Johnny 6th. Gap of 5 lengths, and Military Plume is last. They go into the backstretch that way. Jaipur on the outside and Ridan along the rail, still head and head for the lead. Cyan 3rd, Cicada alongside 4th. Gap of 5 lengths, Smart is 5th. Flying Johnny 6th, and Military Plume is last. Going the half-mile pole, it's Ridan on the inside in front by half a length with Jaipur alongside. Along the rail, Cyan 3rd, Cicada 4th. Flying Johnny 5th, Smart 6th, and Military Plume is 7th. At the 3/8 pole, Jaipur moves up right alongside with Ridan still head and head. Along the rail, Cyan now a closer 3rd, Cicada 4th, Smart is 5th. Flying Johnny 6th, and Military Plume is 7th. Coming into the stretch, that's Jaipur out in the middle of the track. Cyan along the rail with Ridan. Coming through the stretch now, that's Jaipur and Ridan still battling for the lead. Military Plume on the far outside coming on with Smart and Cyan. Now coming to the 16th pole, it's Jaipur and Ridan still battling head and head. And as they go over the finish line, it's a photograph for the win.
Jaipur had prevailed over Ridan by a nose, but only the photo finish camera could separate the pair.
I'd say it doesn't get any better than that, but it seems to me we have races like that every week, even the 14 down to 12s. But when it's a race like this, it becomes memorable and a bit historic, and that one certainly is. And I made a mistake. That time when the Travers was run, how could I have been at Monmouth? They were closed. I was probably at Atlantic City. We'll be right back.